No, I'm not going to say that. Well, I better not say that. I really want to.
The worst of our top 10.
Let's do that over again. Hey folks, welcome back to the Dice Tower. I'm Sam.
I'm JT.
And this is our bottom 5. That is to say our numbers 10 through 6 CMON games. Or if you're old enough and you've been in the hobby long enough, our Cool Mini or Not games. Mm-hmm. They don't go by that anymore. It's CMON Global Limited, I think. We have chosen 10 games that may or may not be part of the same system.
Yeah, that's the problem. So there's two things there. One is if you look up CMON games on BGG, it puts out 600 games, but then you start looking through them and they don't have anything to do with CMON. So,
well, I
they
think
might have done
they were
some
distributors.
Piece, or they might have distributed, so that was really, really difficult.
Yes.
And the other thing is truth be told, I could throw on 6 of one series and have half of my list be that. So
yep, that's true, which is what he did.
I didn't. I almost did.
I didn't either. I resisted the edge. As usual, we usually talk about our weights. And my heaviest game on this list was a 3.58.
Mine was a 3.59. It's probably the same game. We just looked at it at a different moment.
Maybe so. Maybe so. My lightest game was a 1.35.
Oh, geez. Mine was a 1.75. One thing I'll note is most of CMON games are pretty light.
They're
more enjoyable.
Yeah, like sure. Average weight, though, for the entire list for me was 2.39.
I had 2.49.
Okay, so about the same.
Yep,
about the same. All right, well, let's go ahead and get to it. All right, my number 10 is the lightest game on the list, which is really strange because usually the lightest games are reserved for the top on these lists for me.
Sure.
And so the lightest one being 10, I've only actually played this once, but I really liked the component quality of it, and I really liked the idea of it. It's called Monolith, with a YTH.
You did.
So basically, this I got to play it at Dice Tower East. They had a copy of it in the library. And so basically what you're doing is everybody has their own player board, and you're trying to use these 3D polynomial shapes to build your monolith based upon whatever pattern your player board says that you're supposed to do. So like if this row says you can only build it 3 high, that can only be 3 high. And then everything else I think you can go as high as you want. But the cool thing about it is that the faces of your monolith are going to score for how many of the same color you have on that face of the monolith. So it's kind of like a almost like a 3D representation of like Rumus or Pueblo, or those two games where you're basically looking down or you're looking at it like this.
It seems pretty hard when you're on a table to look at the backside.
Well, I mean, you can...
Is there a rotate?
Yeah, you can rotate your thing, yeah. No, it doesn't come with like all these little lazy Susans. That would be really cool
awesome.
if it did.
Yep.
But anyway, I really enjoyed this game. Component quality is really high as well. It has that mechanism, what piece you're going to be able to choose. You can move 1 to 4 spaces, I think, around this circle. And so you can move that many spaces, and then that's the thing that you take and add to your monolith. I really enjoyed this game, though. But it's my number 10, Monolith.
Nice. My number 10 is a little bit of a cheat, I think, because CMON did the second edition.
So. Oh, the second edition.
They didn't do the first edition, but they did the second edition, so I put it on here anyways. That is Sheriff of Nottingham.
I knew it. I don't like the artwork of this one.
I like it.
Yeah, it's
I have
not
no
bad.
problem with that. I like the artwork on it.
Just a little bit too funky for me.
In Sheriff of Nottingham, you are really trying to bluff each other. Each of you is going to take a turn being the sheriff. Everybody else is going to try to get their goods past you and into the city so that they can sell them or collect them, however you want to put it.
Yep.
And basically, they're going to hand you an envelope and say, I have 4 apples in here. Please let me through. Oh, nice sheriff. And you're going to say, BS.
Liar!
Open it up, and they're going to have 4 apples, and you're going to pay them. So it is just a bluffing game back and forth. Everybody gets a chance to be sheriff.
Absolutely.
If the sheriff calls your bluff or calls and says, no, you don't have those goods, then they have to look inside. If you have the right goods, they have to pay you some money. And if you have the wrong goods, then you get caught. You don't get to take anything in, and you have to pay money. I can't even remember right now, but you don't have to. You just don't.
No, if they call your bluff correctly...
Oh, yeah, you have to pay
you
how
have
much
to pay
for
them.
Yes, that's
if
correct.
they don't call your bluff correctly, they have to pay you.
They have to pay you.
Yeah.
So anyways, it's just a fun party game, really, that you just go around and just get in the mood.
Yep.
To
role play.
That,
one of the coolest things about I don't know if the CMON version has this in it, but in the Arcade Wonders version, the clips, the bags that you put your cards in, had this little snap.
Yep.
And you went, and it made that little click sound, and that was always the thing. That was always the thing. If you heard that sound, you knew you were screwed or you were about to get paid. One of the two. Love it.
Go.
Great game.
3 cheeses and a crossbow. All right.
All right, my number 9 is a game that has largely gone overlooked, I think. I even forgot about it until I saw it in this list, and I was like, man, I really like that game. You're building up your own food court in the mall, and it's called Foodies.
Oh, I haven't played it.
And it's a really neat game, food-based, where you're basically just trying to collect a number of different types of stores in your food court, and everybody else is trying to do that as well.
Sure.
On their own little food court, and you're just trying to score the most points. You get different bonus points for having different countries and the most a wide diverse of choices and all of that other kind of stuff. Who wants to walk into a food court that has 4 burger joints? You know what I mean?
I do.
So burgers are fine. Don't get me wrong, but you want variety because little Johnny wants mac and cheese and
that's right.
and Jeffrey over here wants a burger and Susie wants pizza. So you go
I
to
want
a food
Chinese.
court, right? And we want Chinese.
That's right.
So you go to a food court that has all that different thing, you're going to score more points.
Nice.
Anyway, that's the idea of Foodies. I really enjoy this game. It's a great artwork as well. Looks good on the table. It's my number 9.
Nice. All right. Well, my number 9, I'm probably going to get kicked for or something, maybe under this table.
I'm going to wind up.
If I cry, there's a reason. My number 9 is a game that I typically pick on quite a bit, and somebody loves it very much, and it's a game called Blood Rage. Blood Rage is not as bad a game as sometimes I make it out to be, and sometimes I just have to do that to kind of level his playing field just a little bit. Blood Rage is a really good game as far as...
What year is it now?
Huh?
What year is it?
2024.
Oh, okay. All right, I'm back.
In Blood Rage, though, you are drafting cards to then use during the rounds, to upgrade your clan, to get your people out on the board for area control, for combat, and all of those different things. It's a beautiful game. The card drafting is great. The whole upgrading your player board, upgrading your clan, or what is a clan? Is what you call it. Upgrading your clan is really cool. I do have some problems with this game, which are very well. I don't like any game that somebody says, "Hey, have you been played Blood Rage?" and they say, "Yes, I love the Loki strategy." Anytime a game has such a prominent strategy, there's a negativity for me to that, and that's a negativity for me. I think the game would be better completely without the Loki strategy in it, and I think the other difficulty in Blood Rage is the fact that you can steal other people's rage, and in doing so, new players can absolutely get cannibalized, and I don't think that's a fun thing to happen on a game. So, but barring those two things, the area control, the combat, Yggdrasil in the middle, all of those kind of things, the monsters, everything else is really quite cool. So that's my number 9, Blood Rage. I put it there.
Now I know how to make him put games on his list. You have to narrow the playing field.
Just so you know,
yes,
on BGG I still have it as a 7.5.
What?
So I don't have it a 4 or nothing like that. I might act like it's a 4, but it's not. I still have it as a 7.5.
My number 8 is a 1.83. This is the third lowest game. Foodies was a 1.69, by the way. It was my second lowest.
Boom, boom, boom.
So we're actually going in order, right?
That's very interesting.
This is called Scooby-Doo, the board game. Now, I have the poor man's edition, just the base retail game. I do not have the deluxe edition, but I have seen the deluxe edition, and my goodness, does it look so much better. than the retail edition. But that's just me. I still really enjoy the basic retail version. If you have that sense of nostalgia about watching Scooby-Doo cartoons back when you were a kid or when you were a teenager, however old you are, I don't know. This game is right down your alley. It is a cooperative game where you are going to be trying to stop one of those iconic villains from the cartoon, and you're doing so in such a way of moving around, and you have to solve different clues and pick up different things like that, and you're trying to defeat these guys. It's very episodic based upon what villain that you're playing against and how you have to do a little bit differently each game. Who you're playing also changes the game with the special abilities that each of the different characters have. But it's a really fun, family weight, cooperative game that I think would do very well in most situations, especially gateway type situations or situations where you have people that have an affinity for Scooby-Doo. That's just what this really goes for. So this is my number 8, Scooby-Doo, the board game.
We knew it was Mr. Drithers all the time.
That's right.
Since the beginning.
And I would have got away with it too if it wasn't for you stinking kids.
Meddling kids.
Yep.
All right. My number 8 is a card game that's extremely brutal.
Oh.
Beyond brutal. But is a really cool game, and it's called Xenoshift Dreadmire. In Xenoshift, you have your little group of space marines or whatever it is. You're trying to defend our fortress from this onslaught of monsters that are overwhelming and extremely powerful.
It's basically aliens.
It's basically like or Starship Troopers when they're trying when you're trying to stop that giant wave of stuff coming at you. In Dreadmire specifically, there are also weather effects that affect you. So if it's raining, the monsters are stronger, or if it's foggy, you can't see which ones are coming. But they line up in a row, and your Marines or your troops line up in a row, and you just beat head to head until one side or the other wins. And each round, obviously, if they win, they're going to do damage to the main base. And in between rounds, there's a card market where you're going to buy new guys. You're going to buy some new weapons or equipment to equip on them, and then you're going to hit head-to-head again. This game is very brutal.
Yes.
It's very hard to win.
Yes.
But it's extremely fun to try sometimes.
Yep.
So
I would say, a couple of years ago, this would have easily made. This is not on my list, but I absolutely agree with it. It's the best version. Dreadmire is the best version of Xenoshift.
Sure.
I also like how you can. It's so cooperative. You can actually help somebody with their line of guys. Now that's going to leave you wide open on your turn, but you can if somebody else is in more dire need of help, you can help them instead of focusing on your people. I really enjoy this game a lot. It's a great pick. Well done. All right, my number 7 is a newcomer this year, as a matter of fact. Now, I'm a huge fan of this IP. I've watched all of the seasons on Netflix, and this was a surprise because I was not expecting to like this game, especially after I pulled it out and I saw all of the different tokens that just had numbers on them. And I'm like, well, this looks boring. I was so super wrong. Stranger Things Upside Down is such a fun game. Now, the box only comes with Season 1 and 2. So it's a double-sided board. You play Season 1 on one side, you play Season 2 on the other side with slightly different goals, slightly different people that are going to be helping you, and slightly different events that are going to happen and stuff like that.
Thematically, they're the two different movies.
Yes, the two different seasons.
Yeah,
within
sorry, that's right.
Yeah. So it's thematically it's just the two different seasons and the events that happened in those two different seasons. That makes up the differences. But generally speaking, you're going to be doing the same things, whether you're playing Season 1 or Season 2. It's just how you go about doing them and what happens when you go about doing them. And it is really a mathematical game than anything else. There's some hidden information, there's some revealed information in there as well, but generally you're just going to have to, you're wanting to play the right number of cards with the right value to beat whatever thing that you're trying to go against. If you're trying to, whoop up on the
Demogorgon.
Thank you, the Demogorgon. Or if you're trying to beat some of the patrols and make them go away, or if you're trying to help Elle as she tries to help things go along. They have different stacks of number tokens, and you don't know exactly what's in there until you go and fight them, and then you reveal, and hopefully you played enough cards to either meet or exceed the number, the sum of the tokens that are there. But then if you don't
That's the best part.
you're able to take one of those out, and now you know what's in there, and you know what you need to bring back there to kind of beat it.
Well, you take one out randomly, don't you?
Yes, you do. But you know what was there.
Yeah. So it was
You
either
know what was there.
either this number subtracted by 2 or subtract 4. Who knows? But
Exactly.
I'm going back to try again.
It seems like it would be super simple.
Yeah.
It is not.
Nope.
It is not at all. But it was really fun. I really enjoyed it. And the little bells and whistles with miniatures instead of just tokens or even cardboard standees, that was a good choice, I think, for CMON. Anyway, Stranger Things Upside Down. That is my number 7.
This was in my 11 or 12.
Yeah, that's a good
when
one.
we got to the list. Yep. And actually, I thought we were going to have a crossover here when you started to explain it. 'Cause
Uh-oh.
This one's a new to me as well, and I like the IP quite a bit. Oh, look at that. It sounded almost exactly the same.
Almost.
Yep. Except for this one's in the desert.
Oh.
And this one's the Atreides being attacked by the Harkonnen. This one is Dune: War for Arrakis. This game is so thematic,
I
so
agree.
fantastic. Sandworms, the Atreides are out in the sand. They're overwhelmed by numbers and everything else, but you have tokens to represent your troops so that your troops are hidden. Whereas you can see all of the Harkonnen troops,
Yeah.
they're out there, they're easy to tell, but
Yep.
they're coming in masses. And
Yes.
each side is trying to do different things. You're trying to, as the Atreides, destroy the spice miners and that kind of stuff. And they're trying to come out and destroy your CHs, So it is a very thematic, very fun, very beautiful game.
Yes.
Just enjoy the heck out of it.
Very much so. Very much so. Such a great game. Such a great... they really kind of poured into the component quality of this game. I mean, yes, it was a Kickstarter or a crowdfunder, and yes, you had to back it, and yes, it was expensive, but my goodness, what a production.
And one of the cool things, too, is that dice mechanic where you're rolling, and then your dice are going to basically tell you what actions you have to do. So you could get all kinds of strange action combinations,
Yep.
and you have to figure out how to make those work. And I really, really like that.
Absolutely.
Yep.
Absolutely. Good pick. All right, my number 6. Dune. War for Arrakis. Absolutely. Everything he just said. I would add to it that it's a little bit more complex than I wanted it to be, but it's much better than War of the Ring. I like it a lot better than War of the Ring. One of the main things that War of the Ring brought up was this idea that the good guys can't attack you until the bad guys attack you. I hate that. I hate it, I hate it, I hate it, I hate it. And that is not true in Dune: War for Arrakis. That's one of the differences, not the only difference, but that's one of them. The fact that it's super thematic, the fact that you have all of these different variable player powers with all of the different characters that you have in your different areas, the fact that the Harkonnen really play totally differently than the Atreides do, just so many cool things about this game that it probably, if it wasn't so complex, if there weren't so many like nuances here and there for everything, it would probably be higher on my, well, it would definitely be higher on my list. But it is such a good game, and this is definitely one that when it came out and I saw it, I was like, must have, and went out and purchased it. So great game. Totally agree with my compatriot here. That is the last one on this segment for me. My number 6, Dune: War for Arrakis.
Nice. My number 6.
Heaviest game on my list. Sorry.
Heaviest game on you. Yeah, same for me.
Yep.
So it's funny because when I looked at it, it was 359. When you
Oh,
looked at it,
really?
it was
Somebody went
358.
in there and said, this is the hardest game ever.
And it gave it a 5. Went up one percentage. All right, well, my number 6 is a much lighter game, although there are so many different ways to play this game, so many different enemies. This can be a very difficult game or quite an easy game. And this is Marvel United, specifically the X-Men version. I love Marvel United X-Men. X-Men, the characters had a little bit more, they were a little bit more unique, in their cards and everything else. There's obviously thousands and thousands of characters at this point. No, there's not thousands, but there's a lot of characters between the base Marvel United X-Men, and Marvel United Multiverse. But there's a ton of characters, so the characters are a little bit more unique in the X-Men and in the Multiverse. But there are tons of bad guys to fight against. You can do all kinds of crazy things. You can fight against the Sentinels, which are really cool little miniatures. You can fight against Galactus if you have the Galactus giant monster of a miniature type of thing. No, actually, the Galactus in this one's only about that big. You're still this little dude. But the Galactus is like this. But it's just really cool. The game plays easy. You're just going to play in a group, in a circle. There's 6 locations. And you're trying to do things like save civilians, defeat the thugs, or remove the special abilities of the locations. Basically, there's bad abilities that can happen. They can be little minions or whatever else. But it's just a very fun game.
I've heard of Save the Whales. I haven't heard of Save the Thugs, though.
No, not Save the Thugs. Kill the thugs, save the civilians.
Okay, that's
and
cool.
hope that they're not the same.
Yes.
But anyways, that's my number 6, Marvel United X-Men.
That's a good one. That's a good one. All right. Well, that our bottom 5, that is to say our numbers 10 through 6 of our top CMON games. We have our top 5 ready for you to watch right now. If you head on over to the Flipside, where we usually do content creation. So give us a like and subscribe here. Hit that bell icon over here. And then come on over to the Flipside. Do the same over there for us. And we will see you on the Flipside. Take care.
See you in about 30 seconds.
There you go.
Hey everybody, thanks for watching this video. If you like this review or whatever you just watched, wasn't it amazing? Check out our channel, Dice Tower. We have all kinds of things. We review games, we do top 10s, we play games live. It's all about board games, but especially the people who play them. Check out Dice Tower YouTube channel.